Hello. Y'all have probably not heard my voice for a while. That is for a variety of reasons, but anyways, I am doing something a little different from what I normally do. This is a kind of a devlog, a casual devlog, a casual devlog of a mod I have been working on for the hit 2008 indie puzzle platformer with time rewinding mechanics, Braid. As you can see on the screen, obviously. When Anniversary Edition came out, Braid Anniversary Edition came out, I it rekindled my desire to mod this game, but for a while, didn't really know how to do that because I did not have the right files to make it work. But then I got in contact with the guy who created pretty much the most recent Braid mod, Braid Now More Than Ever. Yeah. Cool dude, very generous, gave me the correct files, the older zip files that are needed to get the editor working, instead of, what they are now. They are .braid files now, which are a little harder to crack. I believe someone on the Braid subreddit, as small as that is, did actually find a pretty simple way to open those files themselves, but I got my own way. And I got this mod going. And this mod, as you can probably see by the video title, is called Braid Shadows of Tim. Why is it called that? The game looks pretty much identical at the moment. Keyword is at the moment. But if we head into World 2 here, the title of this world is very different. 2I, Shadow Puppetry. What's that about? Well, maybe we should read the books, find out. Once, Tim was on a search to rescue the princess. Twice, Tim goes off on a search. This time, he can't understand why. All he knows is what he saw with his own eyes, his shadow escaping his grasp. Not just one. He witnessed many of these ephemeral figures roaming the grounds, him studying their movements from the castle's lone tower. They trace circles in the dirt, treading paths Tim has already walked, and ones he has yet to travel. One gazes back at him in silence, unmoving. Far distant from the others, Tim observes his mirror image staring down the edge of a cliff. Arms outstretched, the shade basks in the setting sun one last time before they both fall below the horizon. A leap of faith and a final sliver of light, gone in a flicker. At least, from where Tim stands. Their world runs parallel to ours while resting on an axis perpendicular. They move when we move, but not at our command. Their forms bend, stretch, and skew only at the behest of natural laws, of light and its absence, of time and space. And yet, they are parasitic, clinging to our feet. But why must the relationship be an immutual affair? What if our shadows worked for us? Suppose we could train them to act on our behalf, to follow the scripts we provide, and the ones we have yet to write. We'll send them off to perform our roles, to play out our mistakes in our stead. We would sidestep the damage we could have caused, and yet still learn from their experience, secondhand. Tim and his shadow bound through the meadow, hopping and frolicking along like rabbits, carefree. One makes a plan, and the other executes it, leaving their mistakes to vanish with the wind. And so, for those who are familiar with the mechanics of Braid, including the mechanics of the later worlds of the game, of the original game, I mean, you may already see where this mod is going. Well, why don't we just demonstrate it? You start with 3 purple pieces, which starts pretty abruptly compared to the original 3 easy pieces, instead of this starting low down and having to do this whole introductory platforming sequence. We start right at the top of a hill, head down, and we are immediately met with the first puzzle piece, and it is glowing purple. And those who are familiar with World 5 of the original Braid will know what this means. When we rewind time, our parallel shadow self will collect the piece for us, because it is glowing purple. In this mod, when you rewind time, not in this mod, in the original World 5 of the game, when you rewound time, a parallel universe or parallel timeline version of you would appear to repeat whatever you did. In this mod, you have that mechanic in every level, not just World 5, on top of whatever other gimmicks the world introduces as well, which can get a little confusing. So again, in order to get that piece, you gotta send your parallel timeline self off to get it. And from here on out, I will be referring to this Shadow Tim as seemingly the other members of the community, particularly the speedrunning community, call him Tom. We'll call the Shadow Self, who I just killed, Tom. So Tim and Tom have to work together through the whole game, not just World 5. Here, this key, it's too far to jump over the pit, but if we send Tom off to get the key, he will hand it off to me. I'll die. Not I will die, Tom will die, and I will live, and I'll be able to unlock the door and get the second piece. So this first puzzle is, of course, mostly, it's kind of reminiscent of the first level of World 5, where you just have to send Tom into the pit, trademark symbol at the end, I guess, to get the piece for you. And this one is more reminiscent of one of the puzzles from the third level, the poignantly unnamed level of World 5, where you have to hand the key off to Tim while your shadow self, well, Tom, dies in the process. And then over here, there's a Goomba, you just kill him, why not? And then this puzzle is more reminiscent of the second level from the original World 5. You have a puzzle piece up on the left and a switch up on the right, but you only have one Goomba to get up to both ledges, so you send Tom up to hit the switch so that you yourself can get the puzzle piece. Now, something that I kind of want to do, one thing I must admit about several of the puzzles in this currently, especially these ones in World 1, not particularly satisfied with the design of a few of them. With this one, at least, the puzzles are okay. They do the tutorials that I want to do, you know, very quickly retreading the original little tutorial puzzles, tutorial-ish puzzles from World 5, but I kind of want to tweak them slightly to require Tom to die in the process of getting all three pieces, or at the very least, you have to send Tom after to get all three pieces, mainly just to fulfill the new title I gave the level. All three pieces are purple, after all. It is 3 purple pieces. So I might want to work on that, maybe not. Maybe it's fine the way it is. I was kind of hoping... Oops, I need to fix that. The reason you die there, at least for the moment, I'm gonna fix that, is I wanted it that when you go to get the piece up there, that block falls and crushes you, you just die. So you have to send Tom after to get the piece, and then he gets crushed. But as you could see earlier, you could pretty quickly get the piece and then run back out from under it. But in order to make the crushing work correctly, I put a death trigger inside, or a death volume, whatever you want to call it. I'll just call it a death trigger. I had to put a death trigger inside of this block so that it would actually look like it's crushing you instead of just pushing you through the block and out below. But it appears the death trigger is too big. You can clip in just enough for it to kill you, so I need to fix that. And then there's one more puzzle. Not to get a puzzle piece, but to actually get to the exit door. Along with an ominous message. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that. You have this switch. This one-time switch that will hopefully make this platform get out of the way. But how the hell do you get up to either of these? Well, this flower that is here in the original game, but doesn't do anything, now spawns a mimic, or a Banui. And you have to get him to jump so that you can reach the switch, but you have to send Tom to do it because otherwise you can't get back down. And then you must reuse the Banui to get up here. Which can sometimes be tricky. I might need to add a little extra or re-add. In the original level, there were 3 sets of these platforms you climb up, but I got rid of the middle one and replaced the top one with a moving platform. I might re-add the 3rd one so that that jump is a little easier. Anyways, there we go. So I'm gonna move on to the Cloud Blockade instead of the Cloud Bridge. And you can probably tell why it's called that. It's because these cloud cannons that make the moving cloud platforms are blocked by key doors. This is another level that has some puzzles that I'm not entirely satisfied with, but also some that I think are perfectly good. This first one I think is alright. You unlock the door, and it makes a whole line of clouds start appearing, not just sporadic clouds like it was in the original. And you get a second key, lets you open this door to make this platform go down. The problem is, these clouds are coming so frequently, they make a solid platform that you cannot fall down through, so you can't actually ride the platform down to do anything on this lower ledge. So in order to resolve that, we have to send Tom to hit that switch, but we gotta do it in a specific way. And of course, one little trick that I want to make apparent. I don't know how I teach it, or reteach it, but you can very quickly kind of reset or prevent your shadow from actually repeating anything by just very quickly tapping rewind, and when you stop rewinding after that very, very brief rewind, your shadow will just stand there, awkwardly, doing literally nothing, repeating nothing. It's good. So, we gotta resolve this in a very specific way. Not that specific, but you'll see. So unlock the door. We get the key. We make this jump. We don't have to make the jump, but we get to the switch, and we wait a little bit. Okay. And then we rewind all the way back to before we unlock the door. So now Tom will unlock the shadow version of the door and ride the shadow version of the clouds, which will give us enough of a delay to do this ourselves. And now we can use the platform. We can press this switch and get the puzzle piece. And the reason we want to do that is because this switch, the second switch, is tied to this second platform over here, which we need to get this other puzzle piece. So that first puzzle piece is perfectly fine. I like how this is going. The second one, it's too easy. It's basically just like the same puzzle. It's like half of the same puzzle as that first piece we just got. What I kind of want to do is find a way to add a second locked door here. So you need 2 keys in order to pass through here. But there are problems with that with the current layout that you will see in a bit. But anyways, run across over here. Mind the step. And up there you'll see you got a purple Goomba. A purple Monstar. I know they're called Monstars officially, but they're Goombas. There's Mario parody all over this friggin' game. It's a Goomba. You also have another cloud cannon, and a key door, and a purple key. I wonder why it's like that. And of course we also have the painting, which I made glowing purple because it's funny, because it's, you know, it's the shadow gimmick everywhere. I think it might also help with certain awkwardness, but double check that. And there's a puzzle piece up there. How the heck did we get that? Clearly, we need to bounce off a Goomba or something to reach it, but it's too high up. Guess we'll have to do that later. So instead of hunt, we have bunt. But I will... well, you know what, we'll do this one now. So this one, normally, you kind of just get these in a very loose order. In the original, you get these in a very loose order, and the one that was up on the ledge that Tim is immediately right under, you have to save killing that one for later in order to get up to the last two Goombas and the door to get the puzzle piece. But in this one, you have a bunch of purple Goombas, and that piece of ladder is missing, and also all of these purple Goombas don't just stay up on their respective ledges, they fall off. So what are you supposed to do? Well, you gotta bunt him. Tom will die in the process of knocking those guys into the stratosphere. And then we gotta bounce that guy up there. And bounce this guy up here. This can be a bit tricky. It's a bit hard to talk and do this at the same time, so I'll just let it play out. Oops. Good enough. Okay. Yeah. A little hard to explain what's going on and do it at the same time, but it's just... there's a lot of juggling Goombas with your head, or more specifically with Tom's head, and saving Goombas for later. Yeah. This door is moved slightly from where it was in the original. It doesn't really matter for this puzzle, but it will matter in the World 4 version of the puzzle, because I did retain that version of Hunt as well, but it is different. And we're not going to see it right now, because this video is only going to be showing stuff from the edits I made to World 1. But then we have Lift of Faith instead of Leap of Faith. That puzzle piece is still in the same spot. But uh-oh. This platform is wider, but the switch can only be activated once. The Goombas are purple, though. So... we just gotta send Tom's version of the platform over, the Goomba to cross, and then make the original platform move as well, so that the Goomba will fall down in the right spot, and we can grab the piece. And now, we can go back to the Cloud Blockade to get the other two puzzle pieces. So of course, this is the world with the funny painting that has a platform in it that you can move around. So you want to get a Goomba on the platform. Then what do you do? So we learned, of course, from Bunt over there that we can propel Goombas upwards using Tom's unfortunate cranium. But how do we get this one over there? This little ledge does not quite meet the edge of the painting, so the Goomba will not walk over. So we gotta do a little something like this. Wait, not yet. Like that. And you made it. We need to bump the Goomba up We gotta bring the Goomba over enough that we can jump up on the platform and then bonk it from underneath, land up here. Perfect. And then we're just going to reset real quick, just in case any weirdness happened with the painting. And now, I'm gonna put the painting up there. I'll be able to cross this gap. Jump off the Goomba to get over here. And we can send Tom to just unlock the door for us. And this is the other puzzle piece in the level. The puzzle piece that involved using the painting a bunch. I really like that one. Even though the painting can be a bit quirky with when combined with the shadow mechanic. But this puzzle piece is just kind of lame. You kind of just have to remember that a sussy area exists, and you unlock that cloud, and then you just unlock these doors as well. And it will make way for these clouds. Oh, this puzzle's putting me to sleep. I'm yawning. Allow the clouds to make their way all the way over across the entire level to here to get the last puzzle piece right in the spot where one of the secret stars would normally be, because in Braid mod, secret stars don't work, so naturally I did the thing that every Braid modder does on this level and replaced the star with a puzzle piece. Kinda lame. I don't really know how to resolve it though. How to make it better. I guess it's fine. It's not really a puzzle though. It's more just remember that things exist in the level when you come back to them later. But I digress. We have one more level to go properly. The rest of Lift of Faith. There are 3 other puzzle pieces, of course. Go across here. One thing that is a bit disappointing is I do wish I can make it. Do kind of want to make it so that you have to time jumping off the Goomba in order to make it to the other side of the platform. But you don't even have to do that, obviously, because you can just press the switch. Kinda lame, but I don't know. I guess it's fine, especially because you kind of basically do the same thing for this puzzle. Normally this cannon just keeps firing Goombas over and over, but this cannon does not appear to be working. Why is that? Let's go down and find out. Oops. Layout's a little different. There's the Goomba down there. So what do we do about that? Oh, we got a key. Why don't we go all the way back up? So we send Tom all the way down to kill the Goomba for us. Yep, there we go. I was worried he didn't make it. And then we just timed the jump correctly, like we would in the original puzzle. So it's basically, it's almost like, the best I can, equate it to is like a cube respawn puzzle from a Portal 2 workshop map or something. Except instead of respawning a cube, you're respawning a Goomba. But anyways, come down here. Tom got that key off for us. We didn't have to grab it for that puzzle. I just did it for convenience sake. But if we hadn't done that, no worries. We would just bounce up here, get the key, and we'd want to put it on the elevator here, and then send Tom to do all that for us. And now come 2 of currently my least favorite puzzles in the world. I don't like what I've done with these because they both rely on just... You'll see. The elevator goes up, nice and slow. It doesn't need to be slow. Why am I sending the key up there? Well, actually maybe I should demonstrate that first. If you try to just take the key up here, the normal way, the passage is far too narrow. No matter which way you face, you will end up unlocking one of the doors and wasting the key. And there's another key door up there with a puzzle piece behind it, so we can't let the key go to waste. So what do we do about that? Well, we send the key up the elevator without us. First of all. But it's a purple key. Which means we can send the shadow elevator to continue going up, carrying the key up, while we bring the real elevator back down. And for some reason, because of engine quirks with how the shadow mechanic works, as long as the shadow timeline still exists, the key will just mysteriously float there in the air. But it gets worse. It gets even worse, because then we have this puzzle. If we hit the switch, this ladder falls down, this purple ladder. But there's a puzzle piece up there where the last Goomba cannon would normally be. What the hell do we do about that? Well, get ready for the dumbest thing I have ever seen. Actually, there's probably even dumber things I've seen in this game, but this is certainly one of them. Explain that. For some reason, when you move all of that out of the way, the ladder just decides, you know what, I'm just going to completely defy gravity and hit the ceiling. And now you can reach the piece. I don't know why it works, but it does. I hate it. I probably want to replace this with a different puzzle that doesn't rely on engine jank like that. But it works for now. Well, that's strange. There's no piranha plant coming out of the pipe. I wonder why that is. Oh well. And the level ends normally. So that is World 1. It's got a mix of puzzles that I think are good with introducing and working with this mechanic, and pretty much only this mechanic because it's World 1. In the normal World 1, being able to rewind time is the only real mechanic. You don't get the cooler stuff, like the green glowing stuff that's immune to time reversal, or the funny time equals X thing from 4th World, or the original World 5 Shadow stuff, or the Ring, whatever. The only thing you have to work with in this world is stuff that glows purple, so it can be a bit tricky designing puzzles for that. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, I will say. This puzzle is probably fine. This one is also fine, but could potentially put a little floating pit of spikes or something so Tom dies when you get the second puzzle piece. And then maybe adjust this third one so that you cannot avoid getting crushed in the process of trying to get the puzzle piece. I feel like it'd be more thematic that way, if Tom dies in the process of trying to get all 3 puzzle pieces. Which gameplay-wise also means you are required to use Tom to get all 3 puzzle pieces, unless of course you are a filthy cheater and use Cloud Escape. But we don't do that. We don't do that here. And then, of course, the little bonus puzzle to get up to the door is fine. It's a little weird that the bunny character is introduced so early and then never seen again for the rest of the world, but I think it's probably fine. It's a funny little subversion. It's an extra little puzzle. Then, of course, here, the first puzzle. This is basically the first real puzzle in the mod, with having to unlock the door at different times in order to actually be able to ride the platform. I think that puzzle's fine, but the second puzzle piece after it is meh. Like I said, probably want to add another door, but I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Or how to do it in a way that is elegant and not just chock full of a bunch of stuff. It's like I want to potentially find a very simple way of being able to take the key up there, and in order to get that puzzle piece, that's basically just part 2 of this puzzle piece up here, I wanted to find a way to make it that you're able to take this key back to the starting area and use that as the second key to open the second door to get the funny puzzle piece, but I'm not quite sure how to go about that. I could have it where, for instance, you bring the Goomba down, like that. Currently, I put this little rock here so the Goomba gets stuck, and the reason for that is so you can't just bring it over to collect this puzzle piece. At the same time, admittedly, you can literally just... you can literally just... I don't know where I was going with that. What I meant to say was trying to get the puzzle piece without doing the intended puzzle required to get it is arguably harder than the intended solution. Sure, you could skip it. Maybe it's faster to do it that way in the current layout. If I got rid of that rock, that is. But I just don't want to do that. It just seems weird. I did originally have it that the puzzle piece was on the opposite side of the locked door, and the switch over there was also on the opposite side. I think that's to prevent a different skip. Yes, I remember. I think I remember why it's like that. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing a rewind for this. Should probably just... Hold on. Yeah. Come out through here. We do run into an issue. In order to get this key, you have to kill the Goomba. But in order to bounce up here, you would need the Goomba down here, but you only get one Goomba because it's a Shadow Goomba. So no matter whether you send Tim or Tom up there, that Goomba is just going to be dead. You only get one of them. The problem is that Goomba needs to be purple, because otherwise then this puzzle doesn't work, and I like this puzzle. I want to keep it, and I don't really want to add more Goombas. I don't want to add a cannon that spawns Goombas. I kind of just want there to be the one Goomba. I guess I could have one purple Goomba and one normal one, but that doesn't... I don't know. Feels weird. I could add a bunny. Maybe. The problem is, once again, with the current layout, that all presents a quandary, a conundrum, that I'm able to just bounce off the Goomba up there, get this key, and then the second Goomba or the bunny or whatever the fuck, I'd be able to jump on it and get up there, and then just unlock the door with the key, and then I'm able to get the puzzle piece without doing the other puzzle. And also, that just eats the key anyway. So, what would the point of that even be? So, what other ways are there to handle this? I guess... if I wanted to, I could add a switch over here, somewhere around here, and a platform here that just kind of goes horizontally across over to the back to this area. And then maybe that's not a bad idea. Hold on. Am I cooking? So there'd be a switch on the opposite side of this pit with a small platform that travels horizontally to the left, over to here. So you'd be able to take the regular key and the purple key that's all the way over there. You'd be able to take the purple key with you back over here. Then the question becomes, how would you bring both keys? How would you bring both keys up? Would you even need to bring both keys up? Maybe not. No, I think you would. Technically, theoretically, if you found a way to have only Tom bring the purple key to this platform, and then like turn off the parallel world or reset it, he would drop the key on the platform. Because ordinarily, Tim cannot drop keys on his own, which is actually a pretty crucial puzzle mechanic that I will probably be exploiting a bunch. Tim cannot drop keys on his own. The only way he will drop a key is if he unlocks a door with it, or you rewind time to before he picked up the key, or he dies. Or if you're Tom, and you're holding a purple key, and then you suddenly just disappear, you would end up dropping the key. So there's a bunch of niche-er situations where you would drop the key, but you can't just press a button on your keyboard or your controller and the key will drop. So that could potentially be something. In fact, I might even toy around with that after the recording is over. Or maybe I even have to do the recording over because that's a good idea. I don't know. That's one thing. And then of course, we have the other puzzle of just unlocking all three of the doors. And when you have all three of the doors unlocked, the clouds just travel across the entire level to where the secret star would normally be. It's whatever. I don't really know what to do with that. I'm not gonna think about that one right now. I'll save thinking about that for later. I forgot I can use the bracket keys to when you have dash editor as a launch parameter. When you type dash editor into the launch parameters for your mod or whatever. Oh, that's new. Wait, what the hell? What's he doing? Was he not turning around? That's weird. I've never seen that. Okay. Well, that's not a huge deal. I can definitely fix that. Just change what the collisions are. That was a weird little discovery. Yeah, I can use the bracket keys. When you have the editor enabled, you can use the bracket keys to very quickly advance or rewind, or advance or go back very quickly between levels in a world or between the cloud hubs. Yeah, it's very convenient. Very convenient. Bunt, I think, is fine as a puzzle. It's a bit of a slight difficulty spike compared to the stuff that came before it, but I think that's fine, especially because World 1 is a bit non-linear in how you get the pieces anyway, not to mention the original Braid itself kind of encourages solving things a bit non-linearly. The levels are designed such that if you are stuck trying to get a particular piece, you can just skip it entirely and go to the exit door to go to the next level and try a different puzzle. You're never required, or not never, but for the most part, you are not required to solve any particular puzzle at any particular time, except for a few circumstances. And of course, in order to unlock the next level, you have to get to the exit door of the previous level. But that is usually never too difficult. It's always getting the puzzle pieces that's difficult, not just advancing through the world and then you can come back to the puzzle pieces at any time. And it's no different here, so I think it's fine, but this level's a bit of a step up in difficulty. It is a bit wonky with how many times you gotta bunt Goombas on the head, but I think it's fine. And then, of course, here, this version of the Goomba Cannon puzzle, it's alright. I think it does what it needs to do. It's simple enough. I don't know if it does enough, but it sure works. It does work. And then, of course, having to respawn the Goomba remotely. That is perfectly fine. I think that's a logical extension of this puzzle. One thing that I generally worry about with how this mod is going at the moment is that a lot of these levels are kind of just derivative of the original levels in the game, which is not really that much of a surprise. If you have seen other Braid mods, they tend to do the same thing of just, for the most part, remixing levels from the original game, and that is because the level editor is cringe. Let's just put it that way. Kind of hard to use, fickle. It is a very fickle companion, shall we say. I already ruined the joke. Whatever. Yeah. Level editor is fickle to use, difficult, cumbersome, annoying. It is ancient, it is jank, it is a nightmare at times. There's some funny things you can do with it, but using it can be a bit not fun, especially if you are trying to make a whole new puzzle layout from the ground up. So quite a few mods opt to instead take the existing layouts of Braid puzzles and retooling them into new puzzles. Of course, there are some puzzle designs that I have in mind that I think just unavoidably warrant creating a new layout from the ground up. In fact, I even have an example of that in another world, but I will not be showing that today. Anyways, this puzzle's alright. Again, derivative. Owie. I had a better premise for this elevator puzzle in mind. The whole aspect of having to send the key. That's kind of why the level is called Lifts of Faith at all. Because you gotta send the key up with a shadow elevator. The problem is, the original idea I had was that this is a one-time switch, and that you just immediately send the key up on a shadow elevator. The problem is, with that design, if I can manage to show it off, maybe I'm able to show it off with this version. Let's see. I could probably show off the problem with this version as well. Put the key on the elevator. Yeah. If you try to just send the key up with a shadow elevator, it will mysteriously teleport below the elevator for no reason, and it doesn't work. So just making this a one-time switch and trying to do the normal solution just straight up doesn't work. So that's why this little workaround had to be done of making it a two-time switch, sending it up normally, and then, hold on. What? Okay, that time the key rode the normal elevator and ignored the shadow elevator. That time obviously it rides the normal elevator because we didn't include flipping the switch in the shadow timeline recording. Key teleports below. Then we do that, and now Except it doesn't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Why does it do that? I guess it just gets confused. I really don't know. I don't know. I do like this whole idea of having to get a key up a certain area a different way because otherwise the passage is too thin and you're forced to unlock a door if you try to do it the normal way, which breaks the key. And then of course this puzzle is just entirely based on jank. You already saw that. I don't know why the elevator does that, and for some reason you slip down the ladder slightly. I believe it's because technically the ladder is constantly moving in this state, but it's also pressed up against the ceiling, so it looks like it's not moving. And then when the shadow timeline finally evaporates into the wind, the ladder finally realizes or remembers that gravity exists and falls back down. I don't know. Don't know why it works. Really, really don't. I want to try something better than this for this final puzzle. I just don't know. But we'll have to see. That is about it for now. If you have as much brain rot about Braid rot, if you will, as I do, let me know what I should do about these puzzles. If I'm doing something right, is the writing that I have in the cloud world so far, is it good? Is it cringe? Is it a little unusual? Let me know. Let me know what the hell to do with this thing, because I don't entirely know what I'm doing, but that's the fun of modding sometimes. You don't really know what the hell you're doing until never, actually. You never fully know what you're doing for this kind of stuff. Such is life. Kinda just gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta wing it. God damn it. I'm in this room with a bunch of books waxing philosophical, and it's got me waxing philosophical. Because of course it does. That's just the mindset that Braid puts you in. Even if what you have to say makes no goddamn sense at all, and you don't actually have any real insights and you just sound like a pretentious douche, Braid will make you put it in a way that makes you sound like a philosopher anyway. That is just the mind state it will put you in. And once you put those words out there into the world, you cannot reverse time and undo them, unlike how you can in the game. And that way, I feel jealous of Tim, but at the same time, I do not envy his position at all. Because though he has the ability to undo his mistakes, he does not have the ability to undo seeing the consequences of his actions, feeling the feelings that those mistakes wrought. He does not have the ignorant bliss of not being able to see how things could go differently, or being able to see how he could go through life without the ability to rewind time. Because once you gain the ability to rewind time and retain what you learned from those undone mistakes folded away into the crevices of time, it changes your perspective on things. You start treating people differently. You don't treat people and mistakes the same way. You treat things a little colder, a little more calculated, a little less emotional, a little less empathetic, because you know that even if you say or do something terrible, you can always just undo it. You could do as many terrible things as you like and tuck them all away in the folds of time where no one will ever see them, and you will get away with it. You could commit murder. You could commit wire fraud. I'm not going to say worse things because that feels disrespectful, but I'm just going to say you could commit murder. You could commit tax fraud. You could overthrow the government. And then you could undo all of that. and not have to feel the consequences of any of your actions, because those actions never really happened, did they? It really makes you think. What kind of a Machiavellian manipulative monster might Tim be under the hood with this ability? If he actually had that ability, that is, because of course the game makes it a bit clear that he's not actually able to rewind time. These are thought experiments. Perhaps these books are thought experiments as well. But perhaps you could chalk everything I just said up to yet another thought experiment. Does it actually yield any results? I don't fucking know. You tell me. And speaking of which, please, tell me. Tell me your thoughts. I'm a narcissist. I want you to talk to me. Talk about me. Tell me what you think of me. Everything about me, every inch of me, good, bad, and ugly. Tell me everything. Everything about me, everything about what I make, everything about what I do. It doesn't matter. Talk to me, please. I need validation. I need feedback. I need the stimulation that feedback provides. I won't actually absorb any of the feedback that you give me. Any of the more insightful feedback, that is. I won't absorb fucking any of it. Just like with watching an hour-long video essay. You put that shit on in the background, you don't absorb any of that goddamn information. You just put it on for some audio stimulation. Same with listening to people. I just listen to them for audio stimulation. But I don't actually absorb what they're saying, because I only care about the stimulation that hearing my name and hearing that they are talking to me or about me, or about something I like, or about something I did or made. That's all I really need at the end of the day. I really hope I'm joking when I'm saying this. I hope I am. Am I a piece of shit? I should go to bed. Or just take a nap. Or just drink some fucking water. Jesus Christ, I'm dehydrated. Anyway. That's enough of that.